I started off 3 days after graduation. I was on my way to Army Basic, and that started a glorious 20 years in the Air Force.
Well, I served for 10 years. I had 2 tours in Germany, about 3 or 4 duty stations in the United States, back in the 70s and 80s, altogether 10 years.
I was in the U.S. Marine Corps for 4 years. I served 2 years in California and 2 years in Hawaii.
My 20 years were done in 1986.
I didn't really realize I was homeless till I got out of the service. Didn't realize I was dealing with PTSD at the time, you know. But it's affected my whole life after the service, you know.
Well, for the veterans, they come back from the war or they were just peacetime. They come home and they don't have a place to stay, so they become homeless. And they usually, if they don't have a family that they can come home to, they live from home to home.
Homeless meant to me was despair, feels like nobody cared. I was always alone, and there was nobody out there for me.
Well, I always had friends that I could stay with or somebody. I've always been lucky to have a lot of good friends, and they helped me out.
You know, our native culture, we don't let people sleep in the streets. You know, even though you might have 10 people in the house, you know, you do it because it's family.
But there are some houses out here that have 25 people in them. Because of the economics out here and the poverty level, people are doing that. They're helping their families out, but they're also overcrowded. And that gets a little stressful because you can't have people under your feet all the time. So the type of homelessness out here is different than in other areas that I've seen when I've been in the military, but it's still homelessness.
No matter how kind people are, you still want your own place.
Specific needs of our veterans today are homes, healthcare, medical, to get back into society, to get back into their cultural ways.
Well, supportive services for veterans' families has helped a lot of people out because Ellen sits down and listens. She listens to them, finds out what their needs are. Where do you want to go? You know, what do you want to do? She doesn't look down her nose at them just because they're a different culture. It doesn't make any difference. They're still a veteran. We're all veterans. We all served our country. It doesn't matter where we're from. We served our country.
Our veterans serve our country as a matter of honor. It's a personal honor that they have inside of themselves. And we don't want them to think that this is a handout program. This program is a way for us to honor them, to give back for what they have sacrificed and served for our country.
I was contacted just a few weeks ago, and they said they were helping vets. So I talked to them, and they told me that they could help me out.
It pretty much changed my life around. It makes me feel safe. My wife is safe. And it's just a lot better atmosphere. We had no hope in the world of getting a home, a place to live, to be safe.
She goes out and visits veterans that are homeless, that are living out in the country areas, making sure they have warm clothing, they have food, and if they're sick, she makes sure they get medical attention. And if they need help with groceries, she makes sure they get groceries. Any needs they have.
For most veterans, it's been difficult for them to find housing because if you are homeless, most of the time you don't have the resources to be able to find apartments. So that's where we come in and help find landlords that will work with our tenants. And if they have some eviction history in their past, that we can get by that usually and find landlords that will give them help, and we provide the intense case management so they know that we're supporting the veterans along the way, not just helping them 1 month and then walking away.
They come down every now and then, about once a week. They come visit, check up on me. You know, Jerry, do you need anything? How's your wife? Once a week they do that right there, and it's really nice. It's really nice to hear that, to know that there is people that care out there.
supportive services for veterans and their families has been a godsend to this area. They don't set themselves up as bureaucrats. They're people, and they can relate to the veterans and their families on the same level.
Don't be afraid to come on in. The people I have met are gracious, friendly, easy to talk to, and willing to help.
Follow your heart. There are people trying to help and willing to help more than you know. There are people that will open doors, but you have to walk through.
Make that first step. Make that phone call. After you make that phone call right there, they'll travel anywhere to come and find you to figure out a plan, but make that first step, make that phone call.
So please come and help yourself so you can live a better life.
I think this program is very influential, and it is a positive way to look for the future. And I'm very appreciative of what they're doing for me and my life. Thank you.